when ordinary citizens are summoned by the ED or any law enforcement agency, I don't think we have the luxury of asking them, oh, why have you sent me this notice? What do you want to investigate? Your notice is illegal, so on and so forth. We only have the option of showing up before the agencies and answering their questions. Mr. Kejriwal, by not appearing and choosing to skip the summons, is basically saying that a different set of rules apply for him and a different set of rules apply for ordinary citizens.
Not at all, Zaka. I think that is a very unfair interpretation of what has happened. Every citizen has the right to challenge a summon, and that the person does at their own risk. Mr. Kejriwal thought that it was insufficient. The information provided in the summon was insufficient. He did not agree with the locus, or there was no mention of that. There was a lot of vagueness in the summon, and it was pretty routine. Plus, it happened in the context of, a political context where Mr. Manoj Tiwari, who's a BJP MP, had, sort of preempted or threatened that Mr. Kejriwal will be arrested on so-and-so date or in the coming days. So, given that and given the vagueness of the summon, all that Mr. Kejriwal has done is actually seek a clarification after the ED response. He will cooperate as he has in the past and as all our ministers.
If he was to cooperate, if the intention was to cooperate, he just needed to show up today at the ED office and answer their questions. What further sign of cooperation can there be?
No, not at all. Actually, I think it is everybody's right, anybody's right to safeguard themselves, to safeguard their interests. And there is no problem with that, especially in a context where we are saying this aloud, that there is a witch hunt against us, that there is political vendetta that is happening. So I don't see that. I don't see.
Shazia, please respond. It's a political vendetta, political witch hunt. Mr. Kejriwal is not named as an accused in the charge sheet. And Abhinandita is right. I mean, every lawyer will tell you this, that if you feel that a summons is not called for, or what is the locus of that summons, you're well within your right to write back and ask, what am I being called for questioning? That's all the Chief Minister has done.
So, Zaka, first of all, I must say that I'm astounded by the profundity of this logic that was just offered. The fact of the matter is, Arvind Kejriwal knows only too well that there's no getting out of this. The newly scrapped excise policy has him in a big soup. His trusted lieutenant, the person who handles the excise policy, that is the whole liquor story, liquor gate, and the education minister and his deputy CM is very much in jail. And 6 times the bail of Manish Sisodia has been denied. Not just by the trial court, not just by the High Court, but by the Supreme Court. And not just that, all this while they were saying, where is the money? Now, this is a question the Supreme Court is asking them, like, where is the money? Now, what happened? And this figure, the profiteering that was done by increasing the distribution of the commission from 5% to 12%, and the balance of it, which meant windfall gains for this whole liquor lobby. What has happened to that money?
No, that's not for Mr. Kejriwal to prove or show. That's for the investigating
Arvind Kejriwal,
that's for the investigating agencies to find out.
Zaka, why do you do this? I was answering.
No,
Zaka,
you're saying they have to show where the money is.
Something. You don't do this to others.
Arey,
I'm saying that this is exactly why. This is because you just jump in.
You made a point.
You've done it in the earlier
debate. No bearing
I'm
in
saying
law.
something.
In which law does it say accused has to show where the money is?
I have not even made a point.
Arey, for 5 minutes you spoke, Baba. You said Arvind Kejriwal has to show where the money is. Why should he show where the trail is?
Zaka, why are we doing this? Zaka, please.
Answer the question.
Zaka,
why should
please.
he show?
Zaka, let me just speak. Yeah. Can you be quiet? You have to be quiet.
Why show you want me to be quiet?
No, I'm not saying that he has to prove that. I'm saying the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court. Let me speak. How will I speak if you speak at the same time? Okay, you speak.
No, go ahead.
You don't be quiet. You don't be quiet.
You go ahead.
You don't be quiet. I won't be quiet. Is this the way you want to do the debate?
Sisodia has to prove where the money went.
Zaka,
Kejriwal has to move
pardon me. I just want to finish saying what I'm saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Zaka, don't please. There's little time. You should be more worried about time than me. But I've been a former anchor, so I know how precious time is. So Supreme Court has clearly said that there is tentatively has been established that there is rupees 358 crores. A money link is there. And earlier in a conversation, Sameer Mahindru, who has also been arrested, along with Vijay Nair, Aam Aadmi Party's political advisor. There is an entire FaceTime call, which is why they were trying to obstruct evidence and they were trying to destroy evidence and the phone and the various phones in the story. Can you imagine that? Not just that, Samir Mahindra was Vijay Nair called up Arvind Kejriwal on the FaceTime call, and Arvind Kejriwal reassured him, yes, ye hamara banda hai. This is my boy. Go ahead and give the money. This is a complete. It's a case of.
Okay.
This
See,
corruption.
you know, these are
all
these are all
Arvind Kejriwal should go to
charges
the
that
court.
have been made
Arvind
in a
Kejriwal
charge
has to go
sheet
to
by
court
the
and
Enforcement
answer.
Directorate.
Exactly. So
Now,
Arvind Kejriwal-
whether that is true
Exactly,
or whether
Arvind
that
Kejriwal
is
has to go to
untrue
the
will
court.
only be proved during the course of the trial. I am on a simple
Exactly.
matter,
So Arvind
and
Kejriwal will
Abhinandita
have to
Mathur
go.
and the Aam Aadmi Party have to answer this question. Does the law of the land not apply to Mr. Kejriwal? How can he say, oh, ED has sent me a notice, I don't find merit in that notice, therefore I will not show up? I mean, if the ED sent a notice to me or to you or to Shazia, we have to show up. We don't have any other choice. The law of the land is you have to cooperate with the investigating authorities.
Correct.
And he will, and there is no evidence.
No,
there
not
is-
at a time and place of his choosing, no?
No, not at all. I mean, he's only seeked a clarification. There is nothing more to it. And
Okay, yeah.
believes that it's political vendetta. He sees some vagueness in the summon, and that's all. But I must respond to Shazia ji because it seems like she was a fly on the wall when the alleged FaceTime and these things were happening. Because so far in the charge sheet, there's only writing, but the dialogues and the emotion was all missing, and she's really brought alive an imaginary
These
scene. I must
questions were have been
congratulate
asked
her.
Arvind Kejriwal in his earlier summoning. You know very little about the court proceedings. Arvind Kejriwal has been asked this question. Manish Sisodia has been asked this question.
Oh,
Vijay Nair has actually said that. It's
not
corroborated
fair.
by
It's
Samir
not
Mahindra.
fair of you to
It
think
has
that
been
I don't
corroborated
know
by
enough.
Samir Mahindra and Vijay Nair in the court, my dear. That's where I've got this information.
These
From
are
Vijay
allegations.
Nair and Samir Mahindra
No,
and
that
all
is-
the.
No, and that is what we find. That is what we
There's
find
no
very
fly on the wall.
BJP and the ED speak in one tone, in one language, in one dialogue. Nobody knows who comes first. Whether the ED is
No, Congress
Okay.
party is saying the same
All right,
thing about
I
you.
got to leave it at that.
Did
Thank
you
you very
hear?
much,
Congress is saying
Shazia, Abhinandita Mathur. Let's see if the Chief Minister appears on the second summons that will be issued to him now that he has decided to skip today's. But like I said, the matter of principle is simple, that if an investigating agency or law enforcement agency asks you or me or any ordinary citizen of this country to show up for questioning, we have to do that. We have to bow down to the law of the land. That's the rule for you, for me. Clearly, Mr. Kejriwal thinks otherwise, and that's why he's asked questions. He said there's no locus. Whether or not the ED buys that, and whether or not he will be asked to appear for a second date, we'll have to wait and see. But for the moment,